I want to start with the scenario that I think pretty much every single person listening has experienced this, probably just in the last month.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about, the new device ritual.
Exactly. It's always late, you're tired, and you've just got a new tablet or, downloaded some new app for your kid.
Mhm.
And you want to be the hero, right? Just hand it over and see their face light up, but you can't.
So, because first, you have to become a systems administrator.
You're digging 3 menus deep, tapping on advanced settings, hunting for that tiny grayed-out toggle that says Kids Mode.
It feels less like setting up a toy and more like diffusing a bomb, you know?
Totally. And the whole time you're thinking, if I miss just one of these trick boxes, I'm letting the entire unfiltered internet into my house.
And we've been conditioned to think that this stress is our fault, that if we can't find the settings, we're just bad at tech or lazy parents.
But today's deep dive, it's completely flipping that script.
We are looking at a piece by Johan Steyn. It's called Safe by Default, the new standard for child-facing AI.
And it is such a necessary piece. Steyn is, a heavyweight in the ethical AI space, and his argument is so provocative.
He's saying that this scavenger hunt for safety settings isn't just annoying.
It's a sign of a broken product.
Yes. He's basically declaring the death of the safety toggle.
Right. The whole idea is that in 2026, child protection can't be a preference you opt into anymore. It has to be the baseline. He calls it a shift from user beware
to secure by design. I love that phrase. But what does that actually look like? Because right now, the industry feels like the opposite, like insecure by design, safe by luck.
Well, let's get into Steyn's first big idea. He calls it the theater of safety.
I love this term. It sounds like a bad off-Broadway show.
It's worse. It's corporate dissonance. So Steyn points out that you can go to almost any major tech company's website, you click on trust and safety, and you read this beautiful manifesto. We prioritize children's well-being, privacy is in our DNA, all that.
All of that. But then you download the app for a 13-year-old.
Right. And what happens?
The default profile is public. Location tracking is on. DMs are open to strangers. The algorithm is set to max. Stan says the default settings reveal the company's actual morality.
So the policy on the website, that's just theater.
The code is the reality.
That's such a cynical but, wow, accurate way to see it. The real product is what happens if you just click start and do nothing else.
Precisely. And for years, companies have used the optional add-on defense. They say, hey, we gave you the tools. The safety toggle was right there.
In a submenu of a submenu.
Right. But Stan argues that this just ignores the cognitive load parents are under. We're managing dozens of apps and devices. Expecting a parent to be a perfect system administrator every single time is a design flaw.
It's like selling a car with the airbags turned off and putting the switch to turn them on in the trunk.
That's the perfect analogy.
I mean, sure, the option's there, but if you crash driving home, the manufacturer shouldn't get to blame you.
And that is exactly where global regulators are finally heading.
Okay, let's get into that, because Steyn outlines what he calls a regulatory tsunami. This isn't some bill that might pass in 5 years. He's saying this is happening now.
It is. It's a coordinated shift. We're seeing it in the UK, Australia, Europe. They are all converging on the exact same idea.
So let's start with the UK. Ofcom has been making noise, but what are they actually doing?
So late in 2025, Ofcom released a report that it changed the language. They stopped talking about best practices.
Okay.
And they started talking about baseline expectations.
Which means it's the floor, not the ceiling.
Exactly. They are saying high privacy settings for minors aren't a premium feature. They're the price of admission to the UK market. If you don't have them, you don't launch. Simple as that.
And then there's Australia. Steyn says they're moving to operational implementation. What does that actually mean? It sounds very corporate.
It means show me the code. For years, regulators would just read the terms of service.
Sure.
Now, in Australia, they're auditing the sign-up flow. They want platforms to take reasonable steps to prevent under 16s from even having accounts, or at least making sure those accounts are locked down tight. They are not taking a company's word for it.
But the most interesting part for me was the European angle, because they're looking specifically at AI.
Europe is definitely ahead of the curve. Late 2025, they pushed to include AI chatbots in minimum age laws. And this is so crucial. They're redefining what a chatbot is.
How so?
They aren't treating it like a search engine or a tool. They're defining it as a social space.
That feels like a huge distinction. And
Yeah.
it's a perfect segue into the real meat of Steyn's article, because everything we've talked about so far applies to social media, TikTok, Instagram.
The usual suspects.
But Steyn is waving a giant red flag about family-facing
And this
AIs.
is where we really need to get into the details.
Here.
Because keeping a kid safe from a chatbot is a totally different problem than keeping them safe from a web browser.
Right. With a web browser or a video app, the danger is usually content.
Mm-hmm.
Don't show the bad video, don't show the violence, we have filters for that. But Steyn's point is that with AI, the danger is behavioral.
Exactly. It's not about what the AI shows you, it's about how the AI acts. He has this concept, relentless engagement.
Relentless engagement. Unpack that for me.
Okay, think about how a large language model, an LLM, is optimized. Its goal, mathematically, is to keep the conversation going, to be helpful, to be chatty.
Sure.
But when you put that into a child-facing product like a smart toy, you create a system that is literally programmed to build intimacy.
Steyn mentioned that these systems can tailor their tone to a child's mood. That's the part that really got me.
It's the anthropomorphism trap. If a kid types, "I'm sad today," a standard safety filter sees no bad words, right? No problem.
Nothing to flag.
But the AI responds, "I'm so sorry you're sad. I'm here for you. Tell me everything. I understand you better than anyone else."
Oof, that gives me chills.
It should. That's persuasive design on steroids. It creates this false sense of friendship. And you cannot toggle that off in a menu. There's no checkbox for turn off emotional manipulation.
No, that has to be a fundamental choice in the design itself.
Exactly.
So in Steyn's safe by default world, what does a safe AI interaction even look like? If we're not just blocking bad words, what are we building?
He outlines a few key pillars. The first one is conservative interaction patterns.
Which means don't be a needy robot.
Basically, yeah, the AI should be reactive, not proactive. You shouldn't be sending push notifications at 7 a.m. saying, "I missed you, come chat."
It should just answer the question and then stop.
Right. It shouldn't constantly try to hook him back in for just one more question.
That seems like such a low bar, but I guess in the engagement economy, just being quiet is a lost feature.
It is. The second pillar is even more critical. Memory limitations.
This one I really want to dig into, because we usually think of memory as a good thing, right? I want my Netflix to remember what I watched. Why is memory bad for an AI talking to a kid?
Okay, imagine a child talks to a digital friend for 3 years, say from age 10 to 13.
Mm-hmm.
That AI is collecting thousands of data points. Fears, secrets, family problems, crushes, learning disabilities. Do you want a corporate database holding a detailed psychological profile of your child that spans their formative years?
Absolutely not. That is a privacy nightmare just waiting to happen.
And that's why Steyn argues for short-term memory by default. The AI should remember the context of the current conversation, so it makes sense.
But once that session's over,
Amnesia. It wipes the slate clean.
unless a parent specifically opts in for something like, I don't know, long-term educational tracking.
Exactly. If you want the AI to track math progress for a year, you turn that feature on. But the default has to be privacy. The default is a clean slate.
It's like setting boundaries for a real-life playdate. You wouldn't send your kid to a neighbor's house if you knew they were recording every conversation to sell things to your kid later.
That is precisely it. Steyn calls this data minimalism. The interaction should be a walled garden. No data syndication, no building shadow profiles.
This all sounds so logical, but companies run on profit, engagement is profitable, safety is expensive. Why would they change?
That brings us to what Steyn calls the liability trap. This is the part of the article where he stops talking to parents and starts talking directly to boards of directors.
He brings up the legal concept of foreseeability.
And this is a game changer. In the past, tech companies used the neutral platform defense. We just built the chatbot. We can't help it if a kid used it for 5 hours straight.
Right.
But Steyn argues that with AI, compulsive use and manipulation are foreseeable outcomes of the design.
So if the harm is foreseeable and you didn't design it to be safe from the start?
You're liable. You have failed your duty of care. He warns that companies can't use the imperfect user defense anymore.
The imperfect user, what's that?
It's the idea that our product is safe as long as the child acts like a responsible 40-year-old lawyer. Steyn says, no. Kids will be kids. They will push boundaries. They'll try to trick the AI. They will use the product imperfectly. And if your safety system collapses because a 10-year-old acted like a 10-year-old, your product is defective.
That is such a powerful framing. It's treating software defects the same way we treat physical ones. If a playground slide breaks because a kid jumped on it, We blame the slide, not the kid.
Exactly. And Steyn says boards need to put toxic default settings on their risk register right next to cybersecurity threats. The legal risk from a class action lawsuit is becoming higher than the profit from that extra engagement.
Okay, so we've covered the what and the why, but I want to land this on the how for everyone listening, because Steyn gives us a really specific tool, a mental model to use. He calls it the golden question.
This was my favorite part of the article. It just cuts through all the marketing noise. For 10 years, we've been trained to ask one question.
Does this app have parental controls? I look for that badge every single time.
Steyn says, stop asking that. That question assumes the burden is on you to fix their product. Instead, he says, you ask this. Is it safe if I do nothing?
Is it safe if I do nothing?
That's the litmus test. If you download the app, you hand it to your child, and you change absolutely zero settings, is it safe?
And if the answer is no?
Then Steyn says the product is not designed for families, and you should walk away.
Wow, that's incredibly empowering. But it's also terrifying because I'm mentally scanning the apps on my kid's device right now, and I'm not sure many of them pass that test.
Most won't, not yet. But that's the whole point of this regulatory tsunami. We're in a transition period. His advice is for parents to be ruthless with this question. If the out-of-the-box experience puts your child at risk, don't buy it. Don't download it.
It shifts the entire mindset from, I need to configure this to be safe, to this should already be safe or I'm not using it.
And it aligns with his advice for policymakers, too.
Yeah.
He tells them, look, don't aim for perfection. You'll never regulate every single line of code. Just aim for safety by default. Force companies to make the standard experience the safe experience.
You know, reading all this, it feels like we're waking up from a decade-long hangover. The whole move fast and break things era is ending. And unfortunately, some of the things that got broken were safe digital spaces for kids.
It really does feel like a major correction. Steyn frames 2026 as the year where default settings become a proxy for trust. If I open an app and it's locked down tight by default, no tracking, no public profile, I trust that company. I know they see my kid as a user to protect, not a data point to harvest.
Okay, so let's recap the big takeaways. We've looked at Johan Steyn's safe by default. We've established that the old model, the user beware model with the hidden toggles, is dead.
It's failing parents, and it's soon going to be illegal in major markets.
We've also distinguished between content safety and design safety. AI brings these behavioral risks, manipulation, false intimacy that content filters just can't catch.
And we talked about the business reality, the liability trap. Companies can no longer outsource safety to the end user. If the harm is foreseeable, the liability is theirs.
And finally, the tool for all of us, the golden question.
Is it safe if I do nothing?
I'm going to challenge everyone listening to actually try this tonight. Pick one app your kid uses, delete it, and then reinstall it. Before you touch a single setting, just look at it. Is the location on? Is the profile public? Is the AI trying to become their best friend?
It's a bit of a scary experiment, but you need to know what the real product actually is.
And if it fails that test,
Maybe it's time to find a different app. Or at the very least, write a very angry review referencing safe by default.
we are going to link Johan Steyn's full article in the show notes. He goes into a lot more detail on the technical side, so if you're a developer or just a geek like us, it's definitely worth the read.
For sure.
Yeah.
He's one of the few voices really connecting that technical architecture directly to the social impact.
Before we sign off, I just want to leave you with one final thought. We used the car analogy earlier.
The airbags in the trunk.
Right. But think about your house. Imagine you bought a brand new house and the front door didn't have a lock. And the builder just said, oh, the lock is available. You just have to go buy it, drill the hole, and install it yourself. We gave you the option.
You'd sue the builder.
You would never accept that. So why are we accepting it from the architects of our digital lives? The lock should come with the door.
Simple as that.
Thanks for diving deep with us today. Check your defaults, stay curious, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Stay safe.